Hey, so we're going to talk a little bit about Chromebooks. What is a Chromebook? Okay, Chromebooks are a series of laptops that are manufactured by several different manufacturers actually, and they are laptops that do not operate under Windows. So Microsoft Windows doesn't operate these laptops. The Apple, they don't run on the Apple Mac OS. Instead, Google has developed a special program that actually operates these laptops. Now, if you're thinking that, oh shit, this is something new I gotta learn, why should I bother even watching this or learning about Chromebooks or whatever the case is, maybe you feel as though you're not tech savvy enough to learn something new, you can barely make it on your iPhone or your Android device or whatever it may be. The good news is that the Chrome operating system, or Chrome OS, is ridiculously easy to learn, okay? And just like I'm going to show you now, all you have to do is jump on YouTube and type in Chrome OS tutorial, and you will see an infinite number of videos that explain how to navigate and use Chrome OS. It's really, really simple, and within minutes, you will have a really good understanding of how to use a Chromebook. Now, who are Chromebooks for? Why should you buy one, or should you buy one at all, right? So Chromebooks are really designed for like light use. So if you happen to be a student, maybe you're taking some liberal art courses, excuse me, maybe you are a traveling business person, and all you need to do is just keep connected to the outside world. You just be able to check your emails, right? Send and receive stuff, you want to reply back. Maybe you need to type up some documents. So what a lot of people still don't realize, and you can do this on a Windows or a Mac as well, Google offers a free Office package software program. It's called Google Drive. And when you actually create a Gmail account, which is free, you then move to I'll show you right here. Go to the top right of your screen. You press on the apps button right over here. And then what you do is you go to Google Drive. Okay? Now, I'm not going to show you my stuff, obviously, but when you use Google Drive, it's a program that actually has something called Google Docs, which is the Microsoft Word equivalent. It looks the same, functions the same, has pretty much the same setup and toolbars and all that, so you can jump from using Microsoft Word to using Google Docs. Very simple, and it's free. You can even, when you create documents, you can download them and save them as a Microsoft Word document. So if you need to email somebody that has Microsoft Office, or you're sending your resume, or you're doing a school report, or whatever the case is, the other person requests that you send it in Microsoft Word format, you can send it to them in that doc format from Microsoft Word, and then they'll be able to open it and view it. Now, with the same respect, they also have something called Google Sheets, which is part of the same program, which is their version of Excel, free, and they also have Google Slides, which is their version of PowerPoint, free. So you can make presentations, and it functions exactly the same pretty much as Microsoft PowerPoint. There you go, PowerPoint. All right. So it's a very powerful free tool, simple to use, just like the operating system. There's literally nothing to it. Like I said, within minutes, you will be able to figure out how to use them, and it's a great tool for students that are not needing to use something heavy. So if you're not an engineering student, you're not going to be doing trading or coding or rendering, and all you need to do is maybe take notes, type up reports, simple stuff. You just need to stay communication. You want to check Facebook, you want to use Netflix or Hulu, or just for media streaming, uploading photos, sharing photos, and all that kind of stuff, you actually may want to consider a Chromebook. They are fantastic for that. The other thing I love about Chromebooks is that they have built-in antivirus. So the security software is already part of the operating system, okay? So let's talk a little bit about the hardware, because there's going to be some questions when you're going to be looking at Chromebooks that are available. Okay, so here we are back at microcenter.com. Let's take a look at the ASUS C100. So what I like about this Chromebook is that, by the way, most Chromebooks are going to be small and light for the most part. All right, this one has a 10-inch screen. As you can see in the images, it's a flip. It's also touch screen. So if you you see the image here, you can set it up on your desk and just use it kind of like a tablet. So hardware-wise, for the processor, a lot of people are used to seeing Intel, or you might be used to seeing AMD. You may be familiar with AMD. Here we see something called the Rockchip processor. Rockchip is a company from China, big surprise, and they actually are pretty reputable when it comes to low power, light use processors. They have a pretty good reputation. It doesn't use a lot of battery life, and what's great about Chromebooks is that these guys, this machine is good for about 9.5 hours, and that's not a marketing ploy. It actually will last almost 10 hours. If you're wondering how the Rockchip processor performs versus Intel, if you want to have an idea, it is going to be the equivalent of an Intel Celeron. Now, if you have techs at your job or in your family who have told you don't buy Celeron, they suck, stay away from Celeron, they're terrible, they're slow, you have to remember that it always depends on what you're going to be using the laptop for. Okay, so if you're using the laptop for all the other things that I had mentioned previously, that light use, and you're not multitasking, so that's another thing that people often don't really get, other techs and consumers. Multitasking is very important, because if you're the type of person that you're doing a whole bunch of things at one time, so for example, when I'm writing notes or when I'm working on videos, I'll have my video program open. I'm also listening to music in the background from my computer through Pandora, and I'm also doing research sometimes on some of the things that I'm talking about, so I have a whole bunch of different tabs open from different sites, so I don't have to keep opening tabs and retyping or researching. So I've got a whole bunch of things happening at one time. That is an example of multitasking. Chromebooks or anything that's using a Celeron or like this Rockchip processor, they are not designed for multitasking. So if you're going to be doing one thing at a time, just to be, you're doing your work, you're typing something up, maybe you've got Pandora playing in the background, but you're not really having a whole bunch of stuff open, then these work great and you'll have a good experience. But if you buy something like this because it looks nice and you want to check out the Chromebook, and then all of a sudden you go home or you go to work or school or whatever it is and you start doing a bunch of stuff, your experience is going to be bad, because that's not what these things were designed for, okay? And when it comes to like pushing a machine beyond what it's designed for, that's when things start to get hot, because now they're drawing more power, because you're requesting for it to do more work beyond what the equipment, what the hardware inside was designed to do, which will cause more wear and tear, and that will lessen the life of the laptop altogether, and you start having problems. Okay, things get hot, and that's never good, and you're using more, like the voltage is going higher, whatever. You get the idea. So just keep in mind that these laptops have a very specific target customer in mind, and if these uses sound like you, then I would highly recommend Chromebooks. Alright, so these laptops do operate a bit differently than what you might be used to when using a Windows or a Mac, depending on what you may use the computer for. And when I say differently, what I'm talking about is, let's take a look again at the hardware. If you look here, you're going to see that Chromebooks in general, you'll see a very low storage capacity. So in this case, we're looking at 16 gigs. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, 16 gigs, why am I going to pay $279 or a couple of $100 for a laptop that only has 16 gigs, all right? So we're going to talk more about that in detail. So the way Chromebooks operate is that they use the cloud or internet. So when you hear the word cloud, that just refers to the internet. And you connect to Google services on the internet, and when you create documents initially, or when you upload photos, for example, Google has something called Google Photos, right? And it's another free program. Again, you have to create a Gmail account, which is also free, and they allow you to upload your photos, okay? So they actually hold all your data on their servers on the cloud in the internet, right? But you don't have to worry too much, because if you're uncomfortable with that, you can still download these programs directly onto the laptop itself. And then you can do everything locally, meaning that it'll be stored on your computer, okay? So as far as creating documents on your computer, 16 gigs is actually quite a lot. It's only when you start getting into doing presentations through Google Slides or videos and things like that that it starts to eat up a lot of storage, okay? In which case you can simply use an external drive, or you can use the cloud if you're okay with it. Just to let you know that that's the reason why the storage capacity is so low. Now, if you're wondering about the price, low storage, and you're still paying a couple of $100, and Robert, I could go to the store and buy a Windows system for around that price and get 500 gigs or a terabyte, I might be able to even get a stronger processor. So while that's true, what you have to realize is that Chromebooks, for those who need these types of machines, are very slim and light. Like this one that I've been showing you, for example, is only 2 pounds, and you get almost a 10-hour battery life. In the Windows world, if you go to spend $279, $300, or $200 on a laptop, you'll get something that's 15 inches or 14 inches, battery life only 3 hours, maybe 4, and it's going to be much heavier, closer to 5 pounds. If that's okay with you, then great, but there are plenty of people out there who need something lightweight and slim, easy to carry, easy to slip into a bag, and they don't have to worry about it, and that is the huge advantage that you get with these Chromebooks. As far as data safety, if you're concerned about your information being on the cloud and is it safe and whatever, this is Google. We know Google is very reputable. Their stuff is extremely secure. They do a great job. There's really nothing to worry about. Previously, on a couple of other videos that I had done a video on the IdeaPad, Lenovo IdeaPad 110, and another laptop, the G5, HP G5 or whatever. You know, people got pissed off because I didn't actually have the laptop in my hand to show you, okay? So these videos are not really a conventional like reviews that you would normally find. These videos are meant to just make you aware of some of the stuff that's out there, what it is, and what the suggested use for these particular laptops and the hardware that's inside, so you have a better understanding and can make better choices when you're spending your hard-earned money, okay? So just keep that in mind. I don't have a limitless supply of money where I can go out and buy all these gadgets and toys that I would love to talk about, and the TGT is still relatively new, so we're not being contacted by companies who are sponsoring us and sending us their equipment so we can talk about it or promote it, okay? And anyway, the best thing to do, regardless of whether I had the laptop in my hand or not, the best thing to do is go to the store and try it out for yourself, okay? And if there is no Micro Center near you, go to Best Buy. Even if you don't like Best Buy, or maybe you had a nasty experience, or whatever the case may be, Best Buy actually has, most of the Best Buys I've been to, the normal large Best Buys, not the mobiles, they will have an actual Google section, an entire table with a huge Google sign where they have all the Chromebooks lined up, or the most popular ones lined up and ready for demo, so you can check them out, and they will have a Google representative there to answer your questions, and they are very, very well trained, okay? So that's the best way, is you go there, get the machine in your hand, play around with it. You'll see how easy it is to figure out, and they work very, very well. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just like the other videos I made, please comment below and we will answer you as soon as we possibly can. Take care.